Welcome to the freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. I missed that cube bigger than hell. I was trying to grab a bite and trying to make it look like I had a couple minutes left, but anyway, in any case, if you can see above my head, there's a sign that says F. Chuck Schumer. Now, considering Mr. F. Chuck Schumer, I don't need a bite of my sandwich. Just give me a second here. Yeah, much opportunity to eat before I came online. Sorry about that one. Do have the Tiggy juice, so. Anyway, so Mr. F. Chuck, how can I say this except simply saying it for what it is? And I think a celebration of this momentous occasion of this previous election season and the fact that the Republicans are now holding all three major houses of our elected stature. I think potentially, sound guy, you, sir, have free reign to employ anything of which you think should be appropriate to speaking on the matter of F. Chuck Schumer, denying the newly elected guys their place righteously, legally, and legitimately to receive training in the Senate on how to be a United States Senator. Sound guy, what would you say to Mr. F. Chuck?
Fuck you, asshole.
Oh, absolutely. Excuse me one second here. Yep. That's about the only way you can see him for being Mr.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
No, he's not Mr. Meeseeks. He's a typical butthurt liberal Democrat socialist pile of monkey puke, and he is not happy. How happy is he not? Well, it's going to be a while before he gets over this one. Barry K. Sean, appreciate you coming by and hanging out with me tonight, dude. I know it's sometimes not hard. No, sorry, it's not easy for you to get in and catch it live. Those of you who are just coming in, this is not going to be a one whether you want to have grandma in the room, because potentially you're going to be hearing some very spicy kind of stuff because, well,
It's spicy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very much a case of we're going to be speaking on Mr. F. Chuck Schumer, and
fuck you, asshole.
That's about the easiest way to say it. I'll let Sound Guy say it, so I don't have to say it. Okay. So, Sound Guy, what would you say to Mr. F. Chuck?
Fuck you,
Yeah, I would say most emblematically, just
fuck you.
Yeah, just I might have to snip that one down so I lose the last word, but yeah. So anyway, looking at things as it is, we are now seeing potentially some really seriously kick-ass stuff happening, and the politicians that are currently in stature are going to be losing their stuff. And how could you say it most clearly?
Sarah Connor.
Yes.
You, asshole.
No, I think you said it differently. If you're talking about Chuck Schumer,
fuck you, asshole.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Sarah Connor. Fuck you, asshole.
Okay, sound guy's gonna be having a little too much fun with this one. Okay, so anyway, I'm sure that the election results coming in, you probably had a bunch of Democrats just going, oh, yeah. Mr. Politician on the Democrat side, what would you say your chances are of continuing on and doing those things that you want to do?
He's dead, Jim.
Yeah, he's dead, Jim.
Oh, you touch my tra-la-la. My ding-ding.
Your ding-ding, yeah. Okay, anyway, still got some sandwich left. Just give me a second here. So, looking at the news. Oh, my stars and garters. I know I did not do a show to interfere with the election results, so you guys can see it for what it was, and how it came about. Excuse me a second. I got one last bite. I'm done. Tapping out. I'm done. I hadn't eaten, so Anyway, so way, shape, and form which we find ourselves, we are now looking at a hopefully peaceful translation of power from one side to the other. Excuse me one sec, tea juice. But I got to tell you what, liberal, socialist, Democrats, small d, doing the things the way that they do. Oh, my stars and garters, these guys are coming out of the woodwork with just absolute insanity, crazy behavior, and just neurotic, overtly just wow. I mean, there's no other way to say it other than what it is, man. These guys are just completely losing their stuff.
He's dead, Jim.
Anyway, so as it is, I'm sure these guys were looking at the executive results and looking at the election and just going
Use the force, Luke.
Anyway. All right, so apparently they were not really feeling at their healthiest and dealing with the
SYZPDQOU equal to SYZPDQOU equal to.
Oops, I dropped my gerbil.
Okay, no, I'm sure there was quite a bit of gerbil dropping, but no, I hit the pause button on that. Don't play that sound, guy. No, that's gonna be not good juju. So anyway, looking at the election results as they were coming down, it was a case of
Whoa, commentary.
Yeah. It was not pretty to watch. I do have actually posted up on my Facebook. There was the get together that took place at Howard University where Kamala was supposed to come out and do her, yeah, we won, we're victorious, it's amazing, we're this, we're that, we're rah, 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 rah. No. The look on these people's faces, so crestfallen. There is that phrase in German, and it's not really the nicest thing to do, but with a unbelievably snarky election like this that took place, there is the German phrase called Schadenfreude, which means you're basically taking pleasure from somebody else's misery. I cannot begin to tell you how unbelievably overtly just people were just like, yeah. It wasn't even just a little bit of, okay, we beat them. It was just like, yeah. Like, you guys really screwed the pooch. You picked possibly about the worst candidate that you ever could do. And even then, you have the other component therein where on the Democrat side of the aisle, you didn't even have a primary. You essentially just took this person from the ethers and just went, just crammed it in there. No warning, no kiss beforehand, but just no, I think it was a little bit more than that, sound guy. They took her and just so yeah, that was just
He's dead, Jim.
it was bad, man. Yeah, really bad. And in terms of the way that they did things on the Democrat side of the aisle, the only thing I could say is possibly
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
yeah, it was bad. Really bad. Imagine, if you will, a political party so beholden to completely make everybody's life suck that they stuck entirely the wrong person in there. Kamala Harris. Wow. I mean, if you're talking about potentially the absolute worst person to stick in a potential position of being the president of the United States, and that's the other thing too, is also it's come out to be very, very well stated by anybody on the Republican side of the aisle. One, we didn't have a problem with a female president, so don't even go there, okay? Two, we don't have a problem with a person being a person of color, but you foisting persons of a different nationality than what you think they are and calling them something different is not exactly like, the whole probably justifiably call this person something that they're not. All right. So if you want to get really down and dirty, Kamala, she's not an African American. She's Indian. And that was one of the other things too, is New York Post posted up an earlier article when she first got elected to the Senate, coming out of her position as being the Attorney General of California. She got elected and they were like, yes, Doris Hammer, yes. She's the first Indian American to be elected in the Senate and blah, 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 blah. Then, not too many months later, she's the first African American, blah, 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 blah. Okay, which way you going with this one? Which way? Which way are you going? Patriot Fever, this is going to be exceedingly snarky, giving a warning beforehand. Appreciate you coming by, but Sound Guy has full access to the ones that we normally don't play, okay? So above my head, I have a sign that says F. Chuck Schumer. And Sound Guy has free and open license to apply the appropriate label thusly.
Fuck you, asshole.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sound Guy. Anyway, so looking at the way things are currently, man, these guys really, really screwed the pooch. And they really, really did it to themselves. I think what happened is they were like, okay, we need a candidate. Joe Kaka's not doing so good. Hey, we got somebody here.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh, jeez. So, yeah, they basically stuck her in there and said to everybody that complained,
fuck you, asshole.
Oh, man. So, yeah, they stuffed her firmly up the fundament of the Democrat donkey, as it were. That jackass just got a big case of no, it wasn't even that. It was whole armload in there. Man, they got fisted. Yeah, they really got it bad. Big time. Patron Fever asking Kamala which way she is and what way did she screw the pooch just seems self-edifying and gratifying. I think the funniest video I've seen somebody posted up so far is she comes out and she's like all bubbly, but it's like, oh, that's my bus. I love my bus. And it's a U-Haul moving van. Oh man, it's just brutal. The memes alone have just been Sound Guy, what the hell was that? Oh, I think he has the microphone on his stomach again. All right. Anyway, I don't even want to know what he's digesting, but yuck. It could be he ate something really, really bad. Ugh. Like the one of her working at Burger King now. Yeah, well, I was listening to one of the local radio stations, and they were expressing it pretty clearly. It's like this is not even just burning a bridge. This is setting it up in such a way that literally there is no recovery potentially possible after such an end run of her being foisted upon the Democrat voting potentially public, and them having they were just removed from the primary. I mean, there was no other way to state it for what it was. They literally took her and just went, "She's it. Shut up." Yeah, it was just not good, and the reactions that I was seeing, well, after the fact, because I was working and whatnot, but I was listening to the radio for like election results and what have you, and it definitely wasn't like neck and neck. Okay, it was like basically the blue state area is kind of hit. She got a major bump, and that was maxed out. That's as much as she's ever going to get. But the other graph that I've been seeing, it's kind of interesting. There's an infogram or info whatever you want to call the thing, but it was basically depicting like election results, and it's showing the Democrats are pretty much lined in, maxed out. You can count on that number being kind of squishy a little bit, but not huge. Just give me 1 second here. So their baseline seems to be pretty much that. So you have their baseline. And then you have like the really heavy turnouts, and it's like that plus, a little bit more. It's not like, oh my word, they have like this huge, just overture of numbers. And the thing is, we were looking at Mrs. Dude and I were like looking at one of these, infogram, I guess you want to call the thing, infograph, whatever it is. And the numbers for the elected Democrats seem to be topping out around about like 70 some odd million, like 71, 74 million. That's it. That's hard line, all the hardcore Democrats coming out to vote, stridently, blah, 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 blah. That's their blue wave. 71 to 74 million. And that seems to be the max, that seems to be the actual potential they're in. Now, you had Biden's election, and it showed 86 million. It's like, okay, where did this other 12 to 14 million people come from? And that is the specious thing that, of course, Trump was like, no. I'm gonna have to say that this is far and away and not even close to being anything truthful. What it is, it is just not up to snuff. It is just no sound guy. No, it's not meep. Okay, yeah, tear that one out of there. Yeah, exactly. It was not meep. Okay. It could be said very thusly, it was completely something else entirely, inserted into the body politic that was just an absolute load of bullshit. Okay, yeah, I would say it was definitely bullshit. Okay, so it was absolutely a load of bullshit. Thank you. I've been seeing bumper stickers too, and it's like, Trump 2024, no more bullshit. Bullshit. Stop. If you're gonna say it, just say it. Stop playing the cat one, okay? I know it's funny, but just play the word, okay? Don't play the cat one. It's funny because I know the way that he edited it, and it was, it was just bullshit. It was not that. It was just you taking the sound effect of the cat, amping it up, and stop, okay? Anyway, so it could be said that it was inserted upon the body politic, and 11 to 14 million excessive Democrat votes was complete and total bullshit. How about just, it was a lie, all right? It was a lying pile of bullshit. I told you he was going to be feisty today, okay? I gave him free reign. I said, do whatever, and he's doing it. I've been having so much fun with the memes that I've been generating. Oh, my stars and garters. I'm gonna have to keep them on Facebook. Okay, I'll let you guys look at them at your leisure on my Facebook. Dude Jerky 2. And I I try to keep YouTube, PG-13, but this occasion is not going to be one of those things. I'm probably going to have to edit the video and put in there something like an NSFW. So everybody, because people curse like sailors on freaking YouTube, man, it's just ridiculous. I try to keep it semi, almost kind of clean, like 12 or 13-year-old, cartoon cussing kind of stuff. Dag nabbit and dag nabbit and shoot, that kind of stuff. Excuse me 1 second here. Oh, Patriot Fever. Yeah, I've seen that one where she's like standing on the street wearing like a strap top or something and looking like she's getting ready to, pull out a mattress out of an alleyway and go to work. Yeah, I've seen that meme floating around too about Kamala. Yipes. This one's coming out to be really, really interesting. I know there's going to be a lot of guys who are seriously on the short list in terms of, job perspectives, shall we say. One of those guys, of course, going to be Jack Smith in the Department of Justice. And it's now stated that the Department of Justice will be getting rid of Jack Smith before Trump goes into office, dropping the federal cases. Now, it's also been stated very, very clearly to Mr. Jack Smith, don't you even think of taking all that paperwork that you have and throwing it away, because, buddy, you are going to get more than just a little bit of, how should we say this except for saying you're going to get it. You're going to get the high hard one, buddy. You're going to get, you're going to get.
This is my boomstick.
Yeah, you're going to get the boomstick if you even think of playing around with the paperwork and just going, oh, it just disappeared. I don't know where it went. It just, no. Jack, if you play that game, you, buddy, are going to have a little bit of a problem because, yeah, you're going to get the whole
thing sucks.
I really don't care if you're unhappy about the situation. You better not duff that paperwork, bud, or it's going to be your ass. So anyway, get an article off the Truth Press. Department of Justice, DOJ is dropping Smith as special counsel, dropping 2 of his federal investigations of President-elect Donald Trump following Trump's dominant win in Tuesday's election. Fox News reported DOJ is removing Smith because they've acknowledged and cannot prosecute a sitting president. Yeah. So Smith will be gone from his position before Trump is inaugurated on January 2025. Network said the move means the DOJ is dropping its 2 criminal cases against Trump. Why? Because they were, sound guy, what could you say they were? They were full and complete.
Bullshit.
Thank you.
Bullshit.
He's playing the cat again. Network said the movement to drop the 2 criminal cases against Trump. Case involving Trump's handling of classified material after he left office was already dismissed by a judge in Florida, but was being appealed by Smith. Now, let's be completely, perfectly, blanking, freaking honest here. The executive position allows, nay, gives him the power, and I do mean Trump when he was in office, gives him the power to ascribe secret status or remove secret status, thus making documents potentially something that can be released to the public dissemination, and it is no longer something that they're going, ooh, don't talk about that. This is like secret stuff. Now, the documents that Trump had, and let's be absolutely perfectly honest here, this is how it went. The paperwork, of which you would say, is whatever, Trump had at the time in which he was president. The president can assign or remove secret status from documents. So, even after the fact, he could have said, yeah, this is not that important. It's no longer secret. He had those pages of paperwork. He had all that documentation. He had it on Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago has its own security, has Secret Service, and as a former president, he has a Secret Service detail 24/7 ascribing personal protection status upon his buttocks. So, the other thing, too, is also Mar-a-Lago is not exactly an insecure place because, oh, yeah, it is now a secured facility secured by the Secret Service. So the records department, I forget which one it is, which department it actually falls under, but Trump even asked them on several occasions, I have these documents. Is there any situation where I need to return these? Are they now ascribed secret status after the fact by the next president, read Joe Biden? Do I need to turn these things in? And every time he asked that question, they told him expressly, no, you don't need to turn in those documents. We wish for you, though, to apply further security upon them. Could you possibly put them into a room and lock them securely? So they took the paperwork, they put it into a room. They even put a padlock on the outside of the room to say, okay, hey, anybody walking by, don't walk in there and read this stuff because, oh, yeah, it's now lock and key. As if everybody was, basically going, hey, let's snoop into Trump's dirty laundry here and see what this form says. That wasn't the situation at all. And also that paperwork was secondarily, now tertiarily seen as being in secure places. So Trump was doing all the steps that he needed to do to make sure everything was on the up and up. He wasn't keeping any materials that they said later on, you got to turn this thing in because, there's now a secondary investigation taking place and we need this documentation and we need to utilize these documents. Excuse me. We need to utilize these documents that you have in your possession. Could you possibly give them over to us so we might peruse them at our leisure? I'm sure if that situation had arisen, Trump would have said, yeah, sure. Do you want to send them over via a confidence? Do you want to send it over versus, a registered courier? Do you want to send it over via a Secret Service guy carrying it? How do you wish to, abscond this from my personal protection and then place it into your guys' possession so you can look it over at your leisure? That never have happened. So essentially, everything that took place for those documents was on the up and up. Now, Joe Kaka, former president, soon, Joe Biden, had paperwork out in a garage, out in the open, outdoors, completely unsecured, where pretty much anybody could get to it. Obviously, his place is not insecure because he does have Secret Service protection as a former vice president, but also his stuff was out in a garage and anybody could look through it in any way, shape, or form. Now, they have put out the notion that, wow, he could have declared it as not secret anymore and this, that, and the other thing. And bad news for you nabobs trying to mix one thing and the other, read like oil and water. It doesn't wash, mostly because a vice president, which he was, and a former senator, I believe he was, cannot make something secret not secret because they do not have that authority. So all the paperwork that he had, they're trying to say that Trump was doing all this, unscrupulous stuff with, maintaining secret documents and whatnot. They were trying to deflect from Joe Biden doing the exact same thing, except he didn't have ability to make those documents no longer secret. Nice try. You guys basically made up a bunch of stuff, trying to call something that it wasn't. Then you try to stick Trump with it, mostly because it was a distraction because your guy was caught with his hands in, the cookie jar. Patriot Fever. Starting a betting line on Vegas, how long it takes Trump to declassify the entire Biden administration. That would be the master stroke. Trust me, man. So that case got tossed. There was the other case involving Trump's actions following the 2020 presidential election, which is arbitrary, capricious, and unbelievably stupid in its outset because anybody as a free-speaking citizen of these United States could go, Thor's hammer, that election was balderdash. I don't believe a bit of it. Completely within his rights as a free citizen of these United States. Nice trying to silence the guy that you are going, he can't say these things and make us look bad in our election because we cheated. Yeah. Dominion machines. There's no reason in the world why, somebody had to pay $1 billion for Dominion. Dominion voting. You guys are sketch. And I could say that as a free-speaking citizen of these United States. That is my opinion. You guys are sketch. Scrolly. Scroll. Of course, Joe Kaka breaks silence. Kamala Harris concedes defeat. The View chicks. Oh my word! If there was ever a time that somebody should have been watching The View, it was post-election day, November 5th. Oh my stars and garters! You guys eating your own was unbelievably delicious. I cannot describe it any other way, but you guys just slurping on each other, just beating the snot out of each other. I cannot do it justice. It was just absolutely delicious. There's no other way to say it for what it was, but it was absolutely delicious. Just scrumptious, shall I say. Just
Oh my.
yeah, you guys just yeah, and the whole time you're just going, oh no! Yeah, the whole time. Wow. Just wow. Excuse me one second. You guys so put yourself in this situation.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Well, yeah, because you inserted you inserted Joe Kaka, and then what did you do? You marched hardcore stridently off to the left side of the aisle. Okay, and the rest of the time you guys were just like, oh, Kamala, she's so amazing. We gotta kiss her butt. Oh, is this the best? We love her so because she is not, Trump. Ugh, just you guys were just brain fried. That's the only way I can say it. You guys are completely brain fried, putting it out there that you guys could just fix it all with Kamala because she was just.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
No, she's not Mr. Meeseeks. Not Mr. Meeseeks.
Not the mama. Not the mama. Not the mama. Not the. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
Okay, not the mom, not Mr. Meeseeks. Stop. Just stop, okay? It can be said that pretty much these guys stuffing this thing out there was just putting it out there, a big old pile of I don't know if I would say monkey feces, but it was definitely just well,
Come on, squeal, squeal.
oh no.
You sick little monkey.
Okay, that poor monkey, that poor monkey. I think that may have been the stunt monkey. At least I hope it was because he got the hard way to go. Jeez. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, man, the View. Oh man, these guys are going to be completely losing their cookies, and it is just beyond delicious. Speaking of delicious and liberal tears. Bette Midler has now deleted her ex Twitter account after Trump beat Kamala. I cannot do it justice, man. But the images that people served up to her as we're not deleting this stuff. Wow. Oh, the Patriot Fury, the monkeys, Kamala's happy ending. Yeah, I don't know about that one. That's I think potentially she's probably got like a crate of Everetti's, and she's just really well, just it's going to probably take more than that because you'll have to assuage her hurt feelings for quite a while. I think she's probably going to be bunking with the Everetti's for at least a month or two. But the thing is also, where's she going to go politically now? I mean, pretty much your career is foobar. Absolutely foobar. You guys have to look this one up a little bit because, obviously I can't do the link on Facebook because they're so anti-firearm and they're really not good about stuff here on YouTube. But PSA, or basically the guys that make the firearms. So PSA has now introduced a new lower for the AR-15 family, and they call it the Squirrel 15. So obviously they're channeling, the guy that basically had his, I don't know if I would really say pet. I would say probably rescue squirrel. And they basically said, well, we got to check it for rabies by euthanizing it and checking its brain. So this guy had a Peanut, the squirrel, and then the raccoon, I forget its name, seized by the New York guys, euthanized by the New York guys. And to what end? It served no purpose at all because Peanut had bitten nobody. One of the people said, oh, yeah, this squirrel bit me. It's like, okay, you're wearing really, really thick gloves. You're used to handling wild animals all the time. This is a domesticated little critter here. It's really not feisty. And why would it bite you? It really likes people. It climbs all over people. People are its friend. It's pretty much all it really knows right now is people. And so they basically come up with the Squirrel 15, and you have the squirrel standing up and holding an American flag. And it's on the side of the receiver. I thought that was really kind of cute. Scrolly. There is of course, the re-engineered memes, shall we say. Kamala Harris says what she really thinks in this wild concession speech, and she's cursing like a Navy guy or like a Marine. I was pretty impressed with that one. That was actually really well done. So obviously it's AI, and I really truly don't like AI, but I can throw the link in the room so you guys can check it out at your leisure. So give me 1 second here, and I will find that video. Give me 1 second here. Let me find that video, and I will pull it up. Sure. Hang on 1 second here. Okay, I got the link now, and I'm not auto playing it in the room, so I'm not going to catch a copyright ding, which is so annoying. Anyway, so here's a link for that video if you want to catch it. Absolutely hilarious. Taking place at about the 38-minute timestamp on this video. If you guys want to look in the chat room, and I cannot do it justice. It's pretty blanking hilarious. So anyway, looking at things as it is, find ourselves. Yeah, ding, thanks. So looking at things as it is, that video was absolutely hilarious. Cannot begin to tell you how much it cracked me up. One of my friends, I maintain contact with him using the messaging apps obviously on your phone and whatnot. So being in contact with him, he sent me a text message and said something to the effect of, I wonder if the world will go back to being a little more sensible now that Trump is coming back. So I said to him, I hope so. The Dems are completely losing their collective S hit, and we are F-chucking loving it. So, yeah, it's really fun stuff when you see, like, the world, even the guys in Australia have seen the election as a good thing. I did post up another video, and I cannot do this one justice, but it's called When Democrats Realize Donald Trump Won, and it's video number 1. I'm sure the guys put out a bunch of them, and it's 15 minutes of these guys completely losing their nut. And I cannot even begin to tell you how hardcore these guys are, just like, blah, like, just going out of their gourds. And I think that's very simply easy to explain in the manner such as this. When we lose an election on the Republican side of things, we go, okay, well, this really sucks for the next 4 years. This guy's a butthole. This is not going to be great. Oh, man. Oh, man. And then we move on with our lives. The Democrats, on the other side of things, because their religion has been supplanted, well, probably you could say potentially reinvented into a form of political dogma, shall we say, that when somebody on the other side wins, they are beyond measure unconsolable. And it's now got to the point where you can see these people, just the women are like, well, we have to show in solidarity how bad we have it now. And they're shaving their heads. Now, I got to tell you for a fact, as a Jew, that offends me on two levels. One, you're shaving your head in response to a political aspiration or in action therein to answer to it. And all you have to do is look at any of the pictures of the death camps in Germany and other places in Europe, where the very first thing they did to these people was obviously strip them of any valuables. And I've seen pictures of crates full of wedding bands. The next thing they did was they stripped them of all their valuables. The very next thing they did was they shaved their heads for supposedly for lice. So it's a mockery for these women to shave their heads for a political mandate that did not work out the way in which they wished. And on the second side of it, it is an absolute false hope to place your very existence in any elected official. One. And I usually describe this as, the fly in the painted room gambit for dealing with the federal government. One, it's like the guy with a sledgehammer trying to kill a fly in a freshly painted room. Eventually, he's going to get the fly. But by the time he's done, the room is going to be such an absolute mess, ruined on all four sides, ruined in every area this guy potentially could have contacted with the fly, that it's going to be a complete ruination from its original origin. And when he finally does contact the fly, it's going to be such an overage of actual needed function to remove the fly from this planet, it's way too much in any case. Two, centralizing any government is not a good thing, mostly because they can't answer to anything, which is why in the Jeffersonian side of things, which I tend to ascribe, you want to have everything as close to home as possible. You always go from the state to the federal, never from the federal to the state. In essence, therein, all you have to do is look at FEMA and see the foibles, inaccuracy, ineptitude, and complete and total bad execution for anything those guys do versus your state governor going, okay, there's a problem over there. Let me get the National Guard out there. Let me get all my local resources out there, and they'll be out there within 2 to 3 hours versus calling Washington and going, hey, I've got a problem here. Everything's gone completely kablooey. Could you possibly fix this for us? And the federal government goes, well, sure. Yeah, no problem. We're just going to start this in a bureaucracy. 3 to 5 days later is when stuff finally starts arriving. And while you might have had a small problem at first, the next thing you know, you have like way too much government stuff showing up, and it's all the wrong stuff. No matter how beholden the FEMA is to saying, well, we're the guys who deal with emergencies, we can fix stuff. No. Case in point, there's a news story going out where recently, justifiably, the chick was fired for doing it. But on the local side of things, she messaged the local guys. She messaged everybody that she had any influence over. Anybody that has a Trump sign, don't service them, don't help them. I'm sorry, this is an emergency situation. Politics does not apply. I'm gladdened to hear that she's fired. I'm less happy to hear that she's not up on federal charges for breaching the public trust and doing all kinds of unscrupulous stuff to screw over people in a bad time of life. This chick should be under the jail. Scrolly. I love this one. Supposedly, mad leftards are flooding Google with, quote, move to Canada, end quote, searches following Trump's victory. You know what? It might be time to leave the United States, you ungrateful F-chucking a-holes. I could not do this justice, but Jimmy Kimmel doing his, well, it seems that Trump's going to pull it out. Unbelievably hilarious to see this guy losing his cookies and crying on camera. Jimmy Kimmel crying on camera. Oh man, it's just we should have won. I cannot do it justice, man. That to me is just beyond hilarious. Absolutely beyond hilarious. Jimmy Kimmel crying on camera for his side losing the election, dude. You're freaking rich, okay? You live in the bastion of liberal suckitude. Everything should be as good as it ever possibly could be, but no. You want more. How he ever did something previous to this and not show his true colors, I really, truly don't know. Because Adam Carolla, he's kind of more libertarian or centrist. Actually, I think he's like, politics sucks. I don't even want to talk about it. But Jimmy Kimmel, man, he's just like, well, I cannot do it justice. You gotta watch the video. Him crying on camera about the election results, man. Along the lines of watching all the guys in the MSDNC and all those other, libtard CNNs and all those guys losing their stuff. I simply cannot do it justice. But the liberal tears are just absolutely delicious. Wow. Case in point, there was one that came up, and I cannot do this one justice. This shows you just how out of touch the guys in DC really, truly are when it comes down to knowing what the population is going to actually ascribe towards. And after you put them through, well, let's just say 4 years almost of complete and total suck, how they're going to respond to your suggestion of this is the guy. Or girl in this case, but this is the guy. Yeah. So supposedly Jake Tapper had a map appear in front of him, and he was showing the difference between the 2020 and the 2024 elections. So Jake Tapper was shocked by a map that shows Kamala did not outperform Joe Biden in a single county of these United States. Excuse me 1 second here. Quote unquote. Holy smokes, Tapper gasped. Literally nothing, King confirmed. The slide, which would have lit up states where Harris performed Biden by 3% or more, was instead completely gray. Quote, literally not one county, Tapper asked again, still sounding shocked in the footage. Not one. And that's coming from AmericanJournalDaily.com, CNN, Jake Tapper, Trump. Wow. Just wow. This is kind of one I've been wondering if it was actually going to raise its little head about and just kind of go, stop that. This is one I was really, truly wondering about. And literally what it was this whole thing about like the false assertion that if you're a Democrat, you're completely for all forms of abortion. You want to wipe the kids out as soon as possible. It's the best thing considering, it's better than birth control because for a fact it always works. Yipes. Well, anyway, it's come out to be now AmericanJournalDaily.com again. So Democrats hate religion. Yeah. In turn, they got their asses slapped but hard. So coming in from Daily Caller, Catholic voters turned out in droves for President-elect Donald Trump on Tuesday, playing a key role in propelling the Republicans to the White House for a second term. So, Trump held an 18-point lead among Catholics as of Thursday morning, who made up roughly a quarter of the vote. According to early exit polling by the Washington Post. Yipes. That is huge. So the Democratic presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, struggled to gain traction with Catholics who largely disagreed with her broad abortion support and apparently anti-Catholic rhetoric. Okay, so if you keep slapping down people who potentially might be voting for you and saying that you suck because you don't agree with 100% of what I say, potentially there's always a good chance of you getting your butt kicked in return. Yeah, I think this is what we just saw here. And I mean, that's the other thing too is, most of the time you see modern Catholics, they kind of get a little squishy. The whole thing about like birth control. They're like, you know what? Preventing something from happening is probably better than doing something really evil and nasty to it later on. Well, you might be a little squishy on birth control versus like, actually doing something really untoward later on to the kid. That's their basic position I see with modern Catholicism versus, the way that the commie Pope is saying. I think that's actually what's coming out to be is, most people are just saying, you know what? If you're doing something or wearing something or using something, that's better than going in after the fact and saying it's time to give the kid a roto-rooter. That's just bad juju all the way around. And most people would agree on that point. It's kind of extreme versus taking care of the problem before it's a problem. I really truly don't understand those people that basically go, well, it's just a lump of tissue. This that it's like, dude, it's got a heartbeat in 14 days. It shows like features and not a lot of time. Yeah, it's a little person, okay. It's just a clump of cells, this okay. Well, if that's the case, why do you charge somebody who kills a mother and a pregnant mother with 2 counts of murder? If it's just a lump of cells, why do you charge them with 2 murders? The hypocrisy is unbelievably huge in that regard. Well, it's different if it's birth control because a doctor does it. That's not birth control, dude. That's call it what it is. You're basically yanking one person out of another person, and it's not a magician's trick. Okay, let's call it what it is. All right, you're not doing a magician's trick or just going ta-da. No, there's more involved there, and you're not going to convince me of otherwise. And if you want to try to convince me of otherwise, fine. Make it so that when somebody basically wipes out a pregnant mother, well, then it's not only 2 charges, it's only 1 charge. Because, well, dude, just, he helped the situation because, well, he only, killed 1 person. Yeah. Scrolly. The memes have been absolutely hilarious. Kamala lost so bad that FEMA sent her $750. Remember, November is TDS Awareness Month. That was mine. So supposedly this is one that I think really is going to be pissing off the leftards hugely because he made such inroads to say, look, this is something that I realize I actually have to get involved with because this is so important. I cannot sit on the sidelines any longer. So Elon Musk's net worth has now risen by over $15 billion after Donald Trump won the election. You know what? You can always say, was that karma? No, I don't think so. I think it was betting on the right horse in the right race. And he judged wisely. Scrolly. This one I think is absolutely hilarious. Supposedly Beyonce and other music artists plan to stop performing in red states. Well, I had absolutely no inclination whatsoever to watch Beyonce or Madonna or Bette Midler, any of these other screaming leftist harridans. I have zero inclination to watch them performing in any way, shape, or form. Patriot here in the room says it's not exactly that black and white. Local priest told Mrs. Patriot and I birth control while she was healing from 2 C-sections. And close timing is not the same as saying we don't want kids. Okay. That's one guy's opinion, okay? Now, that's the other thing, too, is also, I kind of put priests and lawyers in the same kind of, like, organizational aspect because they're interpreting the words from people above them. Okay? Yeah, that's about the easiest way to describe it. So, priests and lawyers, they're doing interpretation rather than this is how it is. They're doing interpretations. Scrolly. This one absolutely cracked me up. I don't know if this is real or not, but supposedly some crazy female said she's in a relationship with a plane and flies 30 times a year to spend time with her love. I don't know, but if I see this chick sitting next to me and like, massaging the armrests and licking the windows, I'm calling the stewardess. Ma'am, could you please? And it's going to be a case of, hey, you, boop, stop that. Squirter wants something. Tell her to stop. She's actually kind of getting fired up, and it looks like she might be doing something more. Ugh. Hopefully, she goes into the bathroom for that one, but don't want to know. Don't want to see it. Sure, don't want to be aware of anything that she's doing. Bad times. Scrolly. The picture of Nancy Pelosi. I gotta pull this one up. This one so tickled me. I cannot do this justice. Her completely losing it. Oh my stars and garters. That's you want to talk about just her losing it completely. I cannot do this justice. It was just so good. Where she was attending the gathering, the gathering therein of Kamala's concession. I cannot do this justice, but that whole weepy thing she's got going on, I cannot do that. Man, maybe she needs to hang out with like those late night hosts and just get it all out there. Cannot do it justice, but Nan doing the weepy face. It's already FaceTime. Oh man, just good stuff. Because you know what? When it comes right down to it, when we don't do it, we suck it up and we move on. We don't go, oh my word, everything's coming to an end. We go, you know what? Time to double down and work harder. And that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what Trump did. That's exactly what all the Republicans hopefully do. Of that, I hope Mitch McConnell loses his gambit to stick somebody other than Rick Scott into the leadership of the Senate, because Thune and the other guy, absolutely anti-Trumpers. I do not trust them as far as I can throw them, and I think absolutely you need to have a hard charger like Rick Scott in there to make things happen. There's no reason in the world to stick somebody else in there who really is not beholden to the task at hand, and he ain't it. I did find this very interesting, though. There was a picture that popped up as an infographic showing the difference between 2020 California and 2024 California. Now, obviously, up north, there's always like, the whole Jefferson and everything. And then there's like certain areas that tend to be like, the upper area of like California. Then there's like a break. Then there's like an enclave area. Well, this year, a whole bunch more of California is red than blue. And it's looking very, very interesting. Possibly, hopefully, somewhere down the road, there could be a Reagan-style revolution where they fix things in California. I did mention this chick earlier, but she was the one that basically blew off, the people being serviced by FEMA. Well, it's come out to be that now there is the rest of the story where she has been tossed. So her name was Marnie, so MARN''I Washington, ordered her staff to avoid assisting homes with Trump flags in their yards following the aftermath of her recent hurricane in Florida. Marnie wanted them to suffer for the support of Donald Trump. So whistleblower came forward with the text message revealing that FEMA official Marnie Washington ordered relief workers purposely to skip over homes in Florida displaying Trump signs in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. However, that did not work out for her in the end run. Oh, no. Because apparently there was some Congress critter guys and some senator guys that were like, oh, hell no. So FEMA has confirmed that at least 20 houses displaying Trump signs or flags omitted from the assessments considering election this season. The tracking system stated the message left by workers when they skipped houses read, Trump sign, no entry per leadership. Oh, well, Marnie has been tossed. So you have guys like Scalise and whatnot saying, oh, hell no. Put the word out there, and FEMA's like, yeah, about that. Miss Washington, you got to get the stepping. Yeah. This one is not good, and it's really not good, but it sounds like somebody's going to be forced into early retirement off of this one. This one's coming out of truthpress.com. Pentagon brass plotted to countermand President-elect Donald J. Trump's orders if we're going to the left's rules here, this is an insurrection. It's a military coup. What's worse, these anti-Trump meetings were held in secret and then got leaked to the media via CNN. So Pentagon officials are holding informal discussions about how the Department of Defense would respond if Donald Trump issues orders to deploy active duty troops domestically and fire large swaths of apolitical staffers, defense officials told CNN. Well, I tend to think that these guys are going to be told unceremoniously, you're not here for us, you're going to get us, you got to go bye-bye. So Trump has suggested he might be open to using active duty forces for domestic law enforcement and mass deportations, and has indicated he wants to stack the federal government with loyalists and, quote, clean out corrupt actors, end quote, and the U.S. national security establishment. So if you're one of these guys that basically wants to play fast and loose with the politics, I think it's not going to work out for you in the long run, and you're going to be told to go bye-bye. This one I find completely hilarious. Truth Press again. But this one is how to document your own career path going into the toilet. So supposedly there's this university administrator who was placed on leave, and I think he's now basically been tossed after filming his own post-election meltdown that he posted publicly, dogging on anybody that had any support for Donald Trump in this election cycle. Wow. It is not good at all. Bad juju. Bad juju. Pedro Fever like the idea of adding Puerto Rico, DC, South Illinois, and East Cali as states on our terms at the moment. Well, Puerto Rico, I got bad news for you, dude. It's pretty socialist, okay? That's not gonna fly. DC could never ever be a state. DC is a territory. If you want to be perfectly technical, DC, because it's the seat of government, it's kind of more of like a park where they let people live. So think, if you would, like a government form of like Disney World. It will never, ever be a state. It physically can't be a state. As a matter of fact, also stated in the Constitution, unless you amend the Constitution, DC cannot become a state. South Illinois and East California as states. California doesn't need to get split up. It's its own institution. And I think that we were running a really ragged edge where California could be California, and we really pretty much just say, whatever, blow up, sink it to the ocean. We don't care. I think the biggest problem we have is if Texas decides to go for its own, because Texas never, ever absolved its sovereignty. It is the only state in the union that still could legally succeed. And considering the fact that they have such a huge amount of industry, they have their own seaport, they have their own, well, electrical grid, they have their own gas, oil, hell, they even have their own minting press, they have their own NASA location there, and also they got, SpaceX. They don't need to stay with the contiguous 48. They can become the contiguous 47, and they will do just fine on their own. And if you want to set a gross confederacy, you literally could do Oklahoma, Texas, going across the Gulf, going down to Florida, and you would comprise a nation that is probably a GDP in the top 8 of these planet's nations. So if you have that vast confederacy, they can tell the rest of the states to go piss off, and they would do just fine. Scrolly. This one is absolutely disgusting, but she suffered the wrath on her own words really quickly. So, a physician's assistant in obstetrics and gynecology has been terminated from a Philadelphia hospital after expressing desire for deadly retribution against the daughters and grandchildren of voters who voted for Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. Nicole M. Hart. Now, I also looked this chick up, and all of her social media is either gone or it's private. So she knew she FO and FA hard. So she effed around and found out. Bad. I mean, really bad. So issued a post on social media stating, quote, "To every woman that voted for Trump, I hope your daughter has an ectopic pregnancy," end quote. So an ectopic pregnancy is basically where you have a pregnancy, it doesn't go into the uterus, it stays into the ovaries or goes to one of the other neighboring organs, and it's really not a good pregnancy. It's actually sometimes very life-threatening. referring to a rare medical condition in which a fertilized egg grows in the exterior of a woman's uterus. Conditions cause both the mother and the child to die. Ectopic pregnancies are not considered viable pregnancies. The Jefferson Health Hospital in Philadelphia confirmed on Friday that Hart has been terminated from her position. Quote, we were made aware of the social media comments that are inconsistent with our values. This individual is no longer employed by Jefferson Health, the hospital said. Now, I also looked up on her LinkedIn. She hasn't changed the Jefferson Health thing yet. But I tend to think that's probably not going to work out for her in the end run because it's going to be like, yeah, she just got, elbow, the Archer elbow, like, boop, out of here. Yeah. Excuse me one sec. These guys do these things to themselves, man. It's really, it's stridently hardcore how they do these things. So now there's a report supposedly Kamala Harris blew $20 million on concerts on the eve of, with Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and swing states where Trump had actually beaten her. Oh, man. I did post up a picture, like at the time of the elections, Arizona presidential roads, Arizona presidential, Nevada, all these like very leftist news organizations were completely losing their stuff. I cannot do this justice, man. It was absolutely hilarious to observe. Scrolly. Oh yeah, I can't forget about this one. 2 days after the fact, 249 years young. Happy birthday, Marine Corps. You guys continue still to just be amazing and do those things that nobody else can do. Why? Because you're Marines. Semper Fi, Marines. Carry on. Scrolly. So supposedly the chick that had done the anti-Trump stuff, done. So the FEMA official blocked hurricane aid to the Florida Trump houses have been fired. I'm not gonna say her name again, but she's gone. Let's see. Scrolly. Oh, okay. Here we go. Final numbers I'm seeing right now. Supposedly, unless something else changes, but I think there's still some votes floating around out there. But I think Arizona has actually now verified and validated as well. So current House results we're looking at is Democrats 209, Republicans 218. So it's 218 for the majority. Democrats lost one seat. Republicans gained one seat. And that seems to be the case of it. The whole country is basically red, with the exception of looks like New Mexico. Obviously, it's going to be like Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. Those guys. But the majority of the states, counties, what have yous, they pretty much went red. And the reason is people are just sick of being stuck. As hardcore as they've been, as long as they've been, trying to make things work, trying to pay for things, just trying with no great surplus like we had previously when Trump was in office, when we actually could make things work and we could do stuff without being just foisted upon. Ugh, so hardcore. Anyway, so look at the things. I think that's the end of my news run. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Good stuff like that there. Oh, okay. He did find the music. All right, folks, I'm going to break up this one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. You got other things to do on a Tuesday, but you guys say hang out with me on a glorious post-week election. Things are looking better. Hopefully things happen better. And things are actually starting to happen now because they're realizing don't F with Trump. Good stuff like that there. All right, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Get a gold star for attendance. I will see you guys next week. Good stuff like that. Unless I put out something sooner, I will see you then. Catch you guys later and have a good week. Eat good tape ton rays, always. You know what? You love it. You guys kick ass. See you guys.